Welcome to Vice and Easy, your podcast for all things Miami Vice, with your host, Marina. Hello, and welcome back to Vice and Easy. First things first, I just want to thank everybody. I got such a wonderful outpouring of support, and I will, by next episode, have signed a job offer. So I'm very excited. Things are definitely looking up, and I feel a lot better, but I appreciate all the kind words. And just to preface this for this episode, I will be turning off comments for this episode. It's nothing against the usual commenters because you guys are all lovely and love talking to you. It is for people who would post things that, frankly, I don't think would belong in this episode. And I'm trying to stay positive, but it's hard. I just don't want to give anyone a platform for that. So I do apologize. Comments will be open for the next episodes. But this one, for me, I just worried it would be a bad idea. So feel free, DM me if you're mad, DM me if you're happy. Hopefully you're happy and only nice things. And let's get into it. This week we are breaking down Season 5, Episode 16 of Miami Vice, entitled Victims of Circumstance. Per IMDb, the synopsis is as follows. Sonny infiltrates a KKK-like hate group to catch the serial killer responsible for the death of several Holocaust survivors. However, he might be looking at the wrong place. Now, naturally, trigger warning on this episode for a lot of things, but let's just get into it. We open the episode with this weird, abstract nightmare with gray, black, silver, and this gentleman just hears this pounding on the door and voices outside the door, and he's trying to call for help, and he grabs a knife, and he's calling for help, and unfortunately, knowing what the subject is, it's really shocking at the end to figure out what this all is.
Oh, come in here. I will hurt you. Oh, the land, the winds of change,
the song in the background to that scene, by the way, is Severance by Dead Can Dance. And we cut from this weird, absurdist nightmare to a deli. And we got three Italian brothers just goofing it up. Very much a big contrast.
Chewy. I told him Chewy don't work here no more. He went fishing. Fishing, he says? Yeah, it says fishing. He was the bait. The bait.
Yeah, I get it.
That I get it is babyface John Leguizamo, who is back in a very different role than we saw him last time, blowing up Angelina in front of Tubbs, who was his sister. We got some repeat casting with him and Mark Guilfoyle. I'm not pronouncing that right. Paul Guilfoyle. I'm not pronouncing that right. Paul Guilfoyle. Guilfoyle? The guy from CSI. I was able to call on some help in the form of Google. How do you pronounce this? I also realized there's an L in his last name, so I don't know where my mind is at.
Guilfoyle.
Guilfoyle. Okay, there we go. That only took 5 tries. So yes, in short, we got some repeat casting. But as much as I'm laughing now, I will not be laughing in a couple seconds. When baby-faced Angelo's got to go check on his whorehouses. Again, don't know where that accent's coming from. The brothers are giving Cy, the owner, some shit. And Cy rightfully calls them on their loitering.
Sai, we was just getting comfortable.
You want to hang out in kibitz all day? Rent an apartment. I got a business to run.
Oh, yeah, like you got customers lined up around the block.
Like, it's a playful interaction, but unfortunately that's all going to change in 30 seconds when a gunman dressed in all black with a duffel bag comes in and blows the place to pieces, shooting the busboy, Cy, and the brothers. Now, Crockett and Tubbs were about to tail Angelo, who is leaving in his Buick Regal, but instead, actually, sorry, that's not a Buick Regal. That is a... Sonny and Crockett were actually initially tailing Angelo, leaving the deli, and getting into his Buick Grand National. They hear the gunshots, whip back around, run out, and it's too late. As they arrive on the scene, they see the damage, and they see the brothers, they see Cy, and they see the busboy, who have all been killed. And after the cold open, they're joined by, again, repeat star Xander Berkeley. He was Tommy during the Caitlyn era. Really have to give Xander Berkeley his flowers for smoking like the most stressed person you've ever worked with. You can tell that every cigarette for him is necessary. I don't know if it's just him, but it's just really funny just the way he plays it. Again, the comic relief is over. Well, I guess before, that's not really comic relief, but here's some nostalgia. Look at the prices on the deli menu back in 1989. Jack's Special, corn, beef, coleslaw, Russian dressing on pumpernickel for $5.20. McDermott, $5.65. The Villa Club, $5.95. The Combo, $5.90. Your choice of any two meats. Just for inflation, so in today's dollars, 2025, that would still be around $15 to $16, which in Miami, not a bad deal on a sandwich, but still having to think about. Not to make everything about myself, but I was trying to recreate this salad. If anyone is familiar, from Montreal or now in Toronto, and I believe Calgary and Edmonton, there's this chain called Mandy's that's gourmet salads. And so I was trying to recreate this salad, and I was going to have a girlfriend over and try to recreate this salad. So I wanted to make two big salads because Mandy's, it's meant to be an entire meal, the salad. And last time I went to Toronto, I got a bottle of water, a Mandy's salad, and then I added the fake chicken, like the seitan chicken or just the gluten chicken. I think it was $32 Canadian. But I honestly spent like $40 US trying to grab together all of these ingredients. And yes, some of the ingredients will be fine, like the sunflower seeds and the pita chips and the honey mustard vinaigrette, but like everything else will perish. So it was just very funny. I was like, oh, maybe that's why they price the salad this way, is because it really does cost so much. But yeah, speaking, my ancestors watching me get $32 for a salad and water. 32 Canadian, but that's still like $26, $25 US. Like, that's still a lot. All right, comedic relief over. I will say I really like this shade. It's like a rose blush on Crockett with the blue undershirt that he's rocking this episode. Chef's kiss. I had a low-cut men's American Apparel shirt from like 2010, 2011. And it was this color, that kind of like really bright sky, almost neon blue. And I did rock, I was going to say, the S out of it. And yeah, it was great. And it was men's, so it was like a little long. But again, I think I got like, I was also a lot skinnier back in that day. But I was rocking that. And I was like, oh, that color was so good. But they didn't sell that color in the women's sizes. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Well, Crockett and Tubbs are going to figure out what's going on after the horror of that scene. So they're going to check in with Angelo. Would Angelo whack his two brothers? Nah. But they also interrogate him in an empty pool. But however, the blue in this episode does them all well. They all look great. And I really like the outfits. I really like the oversized blazer on John Leguizamo as well.
You heard of the Diablos?
Yeah. New guys in town. Get their action by ripping off other people's deals.
They've been moving on you, Angelo.
Yeah. Me and a lot of other people. Never heard this from me. The word on the street is that the Flinters are getting a big load in tomorrow.
Well, as Crockett and Tubbs go to scope out this new deal, must say I really like the blazers that they're wearing in this scene. Tubbs has somewhat of a honeycomb print. We've seen this before, this blazer before. Tubbs and Crockett both look great. Crockett's, it's not really a houndstooth. I was trying to figure out the name of this pattern. Looks kind of like a chain link. It's not what it's called. I'm so sorry. My mother must be so disappointed right now. But they're scoping it out, and they see two mustachioed bros The one on the right in one of the pictures where you can see out of the back of the van, you can definitely tell it's a fake mustache. But I think the one on the left, that's his legit mustache because they zoom in on him as he's tasting the cocaine to make sure that it's pure. Then the Diablos come in, blow them away, and maybe these guys are stunt actors because either that or their stunt actors do an amazing job of synchronizing the blowback jump into the water. And as Crockett and Tubbs, they ambush the van crashes into a car after a mild shootout, and they take in one of the guys. You have to see his outfit. Again, go to the gallery for that. And he has this big alibi why he wasn't the guy that shot up Angelo's brothers yesterday. He was at a wedding. He was in church. He was the best man. And as he's lamenting that this is the truth, there's a knock at the door.
I'm the most serious guy you will ever meet.
You're not gonna believe who's here.
That's him, all right.
You know this man?
Certainly not by choice. My son-in-law, Todd, picked him as his best man. I told my daughter not to get involved with that crowd of Neanderthals. For some reason, she thinks they're colorful.
What time was the service?
11 o'clock.
And he was there.
Oh, yes. You can't forget him.
Certainly not. That lowlife lost the ring.
Well, unfortunately, back to the drawing board since that alibi actually was tight. And Gina comes by in the same blazer that I mentioned last week, the black and white embroidered blazer. Again, looking beautiful. To give them an update that unfortunately there's been another hit. We get another cut to the same nightmare that opened this episode, that kind of abstract, heightened, silver, black. And we see the old man once again, getting nervous, being afraid. And then we cut to the scene of the crime. An old couple and a guy who worked at the hotel as well. As Crockett and Tubbs are surveying the scene, we see someone from a car keeping an eye on Crockett. Unfortunately, Crockett, when he gets the bodies of the elderly couple, he notices the exact same concentration camp tattoo on their wrist, and obviously he's naturally very affected. The next scene, Xander Berkeley, I don't even know his character's name, and frankly, I'm just going to keep calling him Xander Berkeley. Crockett and Tubbs meet with Dr. Krebs, who is running a foundation that finds and persecutes Nazis who have evaded trials or any punishment for their crimes. He was working together with the people that have been murdered so far, that have all were concentration camp Holocaust survivors, and they were all set to testify against one Hans Kosak, who he believes is living in southern Florida. Unfortunately, he knows that this is not a mistake. There's one other witness, Jacob Hoffman, who is living in an elderly care facility. And then Krebs rolls up his sleeve to reveal the tattoo as well, and that he is the other witness. So there are two more witnesses still alive that will be testifying against Hans Kosak. He also received a threatening letter, one John Baker, ex-Klans member. Krebs is set to give a speech, and so Crockett, Zwitek, and Tubbs are all going to go to the speech, also knowing that this group is more than likely to cause trouble there.
White is might, the force of the force, silence and fight.
You people have no place in a civilized society.
You are the people who have no place here.
You will leave here at once, or I'll have you arrested for trespassing.
What's the matter? You afraid of a little debate?
Sit down.
Yeah, it's America. Let him speak.
Just sit down. Easy, homeboy.
I said sit down.
Hey, well, you got a problem?
Yeah, you got a problem.
MVP of this scene is not only Tubbs for how sassy he is in his comeback, but he is just whooping ass because, again, they're trying to stoke the fire. So Crockett and Zwitek naturally are trying to get close to Baker, whereas Tubbs is going to go punch some Nazis. And we see our guy. You will 100% know who this guy is because I made a GIF. It's the big mustachioed, heavy security goon guy. But he's back, and Crockett gets him right in the liver. Switek hits someone in the back with a chair. Tubbs gets a hold of Baker. Crockett is the one that wrangles him free, and he punches Tubbs as well. This is also a chance for Baker to thank Crockett and for Crockett to get that connection. As they're arrested and thrown in jail, first, let's admire the background scene of the neighboring cell. We got a whole mishmash of characters in there, just smoking, just being sassy and being fabulous. We got one giant man. That's the one I was focusing on with the hair. And you got some acid wash jeans. And it's during this time that they're all in the same jail cell together where Baker can ask a little bit more about Crockett and Switek. They claim that they haven't been in state because they've been in Idaho, but they really try to pander to Baker.
We were real happy to see some other patriots in that there meeting room today.
Yeah, Miami used to be a happening place. But now, what with your immigrants, your coloreds, your infidels, God-fearing white man can hardly get a job anymore.
Yeah, and then the bastards blame us for everything that's wrong in their miserable lives.
Well, the Patriotic Brigade shares your point of view, gentlemen.
What's the Patriotic Brigade?
It's a small, select, primarily religious group.
Warriors for God.
Baker says that, they'll definitely be getting out. And as a thank you for Crockett's help during the fight, he'll make sure that him and Stan get out as well. Baker is true to his word. And as they're getting out, Baker is met with his wife and a reporter named Helen Jackson who really wants to speak with him. I made a GIF because you can just tell how these two women interact. The wife is not happy at all.
I'm writing a book on the radical right. As the movement's most eloquent spokesman, I'd love to interview you.
John, the children are waiting.
At your convenience, of course.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I'm afraid an interview is out of the question.
See you next week.
I cannot hear "I'm sorry, Miss Jackson" without being like, "Ooh, I am for real." That's exactly what's playing in my head. So undeterred, she goes to Crockett and Switek, pleading with them to get close and, again, reiterating that she's not, quote, unsympathetic to his cause. But the next time that Crockett and Switek are going to meet up with Baker, they have something planned. They're going to blow up a Jewish delicatessen that actually is about to be repurposed for real estate development, thankfully. But unfortunately, that is why I'm not putting any images of that, because the Star of David's bright in the window as they're blowing it up. But they're using this to get close to Baker and to try to infiltrate the group. And you can see Baker kind of smile. It's like a forced, weird smile. I gotta say, this guy seems like a great guy in real life, but he does play an asshole really well on Miami Vice, especially. And again, please look at how tacky this man's house is. Think about how wealthy this man is for how gaudy his house is. All the candelabras, all the ornate details, the gold-plated, trimmed everything, marble everything, even marble in the computer room. Like, it's crazy. His computer, though...
Communists, Jews, blacks, feminists, homosexuals, undesirable elements in the State Department.
And so his computer just has files upon files upon files, very meticulously organized, of everyone that could be considered, quote, enemies of the Aryan people, because that is the label that is printed on one of the floppy disks you'll see later. And as Baker is lamenting the biased media and this and that, Crockett plays into him. And in fact, he thinks a reporter that might be able to help his cause, and not only that, to help Crockett's actual cause as they bug the hotel room where the interview will take place.
My heart is heavy, Miss Jackson. The press wants people to believe I'm the devil, so they won't listen to me.
Of course they do.
Poor little fascist. Nobody understands it.
My God. Look what happened to my daddy. He believed in this country. He fought for it during Korea. Came home, he got a job in the mills. He worked hard, supported his family. And then the mills closed. I mean, there is no way a genuine American working man can compete with wetbacks willing to work for chump change for wages. So, Daddy was out of work. His bosses babbled something about failure to meet international competition. But he started attending meetings. He found out the real reason. An international conspiracy of Jews in league with other mongrel races, conspiring in secret to deprive white Americans of their birthright.
Communism.
Oh, you know it. And worse, too, we're talking about an attempt to subvert the real America. Conspiracy of the impure.
As Crockett and Tubbs and Zweitag have to listen to this, it just goes on and on.
You hear this crap?
Jackson, time is
You think he was once a kid? How?
that time.
Kinda used to torture little animals for a laugh.
Miss Jackson. Darling, we must get the word out to appeal to the true patriots.
Exactly what I had in mind.
Good. But articles and speeches are not enough to win this war. We're engaged in more militant activities. We are gonna kick some butt.
But whose, Mr. Baker?
Come on, Baker. Hang yourself.
Come in.
Excuse me, sir. Don't forget we got a strategy meeting in 5 minutes.
Oh, damn.
You can tell she really wants to get more from him. Sorry, comedic relief. She is holding onto that cigarette for dear life. It is in her left hand as she's writing with her right. I don't see her smoking it. And then when he has to leave and she gets a little bit nervous, she just switches hands. Doesn't put it down, doesn't put it in an ashtray, nothing. I was just like, she is stressed. And you can see it in her eyes. Like, you can see this woman is high-strung and stressed. This is obviously a high-strung and stressful episode. So 100% this definitely tracks. Still undeterred, they still need to know what's going on and they have to have something to nab him. So they join him for what he says is going to be some action. Turns out is just, let's just say it's best put in Crockett's words.
Forget it, Rico. We've landed in a fascist pep rally.
I also did take some pictures of people just chugging straight from the bottle at this rally behind Crockett. And like I brought up before, not to segue this into fashion, but you will notice that the oversized black and white pinstripe in there, like wider set pinstripes on Crockett with the decoration on the lapel and the yellow, it shouldn't work together, but it does. To be fair, nothing really looks bad on Don Johnson with that face, but yeah, I was really surprised. Next scene, we see somebody breaking in. It's the same person, same figure, dressed in black, breaking in to get info on Jacob Hoffman from Baker's computer. We see them going through the disks, the floppy disks, and this person takes the disk C disk. They do have a lot of information on everybody because it seems to have a very intricate data storage system. Now, remember when they mentioned Jacob Hoffman and Xander Berkeley told us that he's under protection at the old folks' home. His son is getting a little bit nervous and goes to visit the home to talk to him.
Elliot, let me tell you something. One day I may forget my own name, but Hans Kozak's face, never.
Can't you see you're in danger? 2 witnesses are already dead.
So what are you telling me? You don't want me to testify? You want me to tell Cribbs, go find another witness?
Dad, please. I want you to come stay with me. I'll hire guards.
I got more guards than the president. They watch me day and night. You think I like it? I don't care about myself. I've lived a long life. Nobody can hurt an old man. No. I do this for the others. For the ones who didn't survive. And to let the world know that it can never happen again.
And unfortunately from that, we get a really upsetting jump scare.
Time for your exercise, Mr. Hoffman.
You see? I'm well taken care of.
Yeah, that's the reporter dressed up as a nurse taking Jacob Hoffman as a shadowy figure had just taken his information the night before. Crockett calls in. I do have a photo of him with glorious hair, very hockey mullety, calling into OCB when Gina tells him that Jacob Hoffman's dead. And when they go to the scene of the crime, it's revealed that Jacob Hoffman's caretaker was killed 10 hours before. So unfortunately, we can kind of deduce what we will and put two and two together that they were not killed at the same time, even though that's what the scene was trying to portray, that the caretaker was killed well before. I apologize for just putting upsetting scene back to back with upsetting scene, but here is the reporter talking to her father, Hans Kozak.
Nobody can hurt you. Now, I want you to get some sleep. Please. No more nightmares tonight.
Sleep. I wish it were possible.
But they're all dead. There's nobody to torment you anymore.
Krebs can.
It's his word against yours. What can he do?
He'll find other witnesses to lie for him. That's the kind of man he is.
I see.
Until Krebs is gone, I'll always be waiting for the knock on the door.
There are a lot of things I want to say, and there are a lot of expletives written in my notes as this Nazi war criminal is complaining about nightmares of having people knock at his door, calling Krebs a liar. Like, it's a very infuriating scene. And I was also surprised that his apartment actually is the one from that abstract nightmare. Like, I thought that it would be a completely different setup and that was, what it looked like in his mind. And no, that's what he actually lives in. And as we, the audience, see where the connection lies, Crockett and Tubbs are just about to realize this as they start asking people in the old folks' home what the nurse looked like. And when they put the blonde hair and the blue eyes, it clicks for Crockett and Tubbs, and they know exactly where to go.
The three people that were killed were all three survivors of the same concentration camp. The only ones left alive that could identify Kozak, that Nazi. There's got to be a connection.
That means that Krebs is next on her list.
As they're driving to go see Krebs, warn him, protect him, she saunters in. This is also super infuriating, and this is how she phrases the connection.
This really isn't an interview, Mr. Krebs. I'd just like to ask you a few questions. You see, my father was in the same camp with you.
Wow, that's one way to put it.
Who is your father?
Saul Lentz. Did you know him?
Regrettably, no, but there were so many. So, can I help you?
I'd like to ask you a few questions about Hans Kozak. He's the real reason you're here, isn't he?
Oh, you are a very good reporter. This man, Hans Kozak, your father spoke of him?
Many times.
Then you must know what kind of a man he is.
I am here to bring him to justice.
What if there's another point of view, Mr. Krebs? What if you were only following orders he had to follow, doing his job?
Wow. And at that time, Baker and his goons come in. She does not want them there. She tells them to leave as they get into it.
Just get out of here. You wanted this? Here it is. Now you get out of here.
You used me. I don't like that.
Will you please leave me alone with this man?
You used me.
She shoots Baker and his goon and then turns back to Krebs and finally comes clean about who she is and her motivations.
I'm Hans Kozak's daughter. The man you've been persecuting for years.
Young woman, there can be no persecution for that man.
Shut up.
And Krebs is telling her true stories of what her father did as a guard in the concentration camp. And yeah, it's a really upsetting scene, and he tries to level with her.
I almost pity you. In your desire to protect him, you have become him.
I will say this is one of the most badass old man things to do is, again, she has the gun pointed at him when Crockett and Tubbs come in and surprise her. He knocks the gun out of her hand with his cane. And this is when Crockett and Tubbs can apprehend her. Luckily, Krebs is safe, and as they're walking her out, unfortunately, I do have to say, horrible character, but great actress because she has servant looks in this scene. Karen Black looks amazing in this white suit with the black belt and the black undershirt. And yeah, unfortunately, she's serving looks. As they're outside, as they're about to put her in the car, Crockett just still is trying to wrap his head around what she's done and tries to get her reasoning.
After all these people have been through, why'd you do it?
This is for my father. He was a great, great man. He was always there when I needed him. He's like no other man could ever be. There's nobody like my daddy.
Yes, there is. My brothers.
2 gunshots, and with that, she is donezo. Angelo gets shot in the leg, but he's still alive. Crockett goes to take her pulse, confirms that she's dead, and they say this.
Then she's been dead a long time, Rico. Since way back when her father executed all those people in the death camps. Unfortunately, what she stood for didn't die with her.
And that quote, that line would have been the best way to end this episode, but instead, the song they chose to play over the end is called Misguided Angel. Okay, and with that, this is a solemn wrap to the episode, but let's talk fashion because we did get some solid looks in this episode. Now, my ultimate 2 standouts is going to be Crockett's blush rose blazer, looking like $1 million paired with that blue that I was talking about. And unfortunately, Helen Jackson, the reporter, looking amazing in that white skirt suit with the black belt and the black shirt. Her hair was a little wild this episode, and then when I was looking her up, I was like, oh, number one, this woman, she was working. She was also 50 years old when this aired. And we always like to joke that people aged much faster back then. I would not have believed she was 50 years old. I thought she was like in her 40s. She looks great for 50. And again, this is before all the advancements of aging and injectables and lasers and all this. There was, facelifts and such back then. Plastic surgery is definitely advanced. But the fact that she looked like this at 50 years old, wow. horrible character, but gotta say, pretty cool actress. I was looking her up, Karen Black. I was trying to go through, her IMDb to see what I know her in. She has been in everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. This woman hustled. Now, back to fashion. I guess I kind of made up a new category. I've done this before where I've shouted out background actors, but the gentleman hanging in the cell next to them, just this wild mishmash. And it just always gave me such giggles seeing the camera pan around them. So I had to shout them out. Also have to give out Xander Berkeley's super stress smoking. I guess Ben Affleck would be the face of that now, but this man is always having a rough day. And he has, his suit's a little bit too big for him. He kind of has like that stressed used car salesman guy, but I will give him credit. He was really good in the second season of 24. Like I said, I was watching that all throughout the summer and before. And wild card, we have our star witness / best man. Just his whole vibe, the outfit, him exhaling cigarette smoke out of his nose in the interrogation room. Amazing. And I will shout out that blue glass block wall that the reporter is really trying to get to Crockett and Tubbs. To Crockett and Zwitek. Tubbs is not part of that. After getting out of the joint, I just kind of love like that soft glow. Super cool. And as we wrap up this episode of Vice and Easy, I'm going to have to omit Misguided Angel by the Cowboy Junkies from the selection for the best songs. So we're left with 2, Severance by Dead Can Dance, that we heard in the beginning during that kind of nightmare scene. And then we have the Miami Beach, I can't pronounce anything today, the Miami Beach Rumba by the Klezmer Conservatory Band that was in the restaurant right before it got shut up. So I guess by default, we're going to go with Severance by Dead Can Dance. But however, I kind of actually enjoyed the Innocent Bystander Tim Truman. I do actually have a soft spot for his stuff, but maybe that's my song of the episode. Sorry, not to drop the bag on you guys, but it's a much more different episode to review than others. And with that, as we're wrapping up, I just want to say thank you as always. I know this was an easy episode to get through, so thank you for sticking by me and thank you for all your support. And again, thank you for all your kind words. My luck is definitely coming up and I will have details for you soon. If you like what you're hearing, feel free to hit subscribe, tell a friend, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast, and like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on all things social at Vice and Easy Podcast. And you can see the gallery for each and every episode. There will always be a descriptor in the notes, and they're all hosted on Imager. And with that, we wrap up the episode, and thank you as always.
Hey man, Miami Wise is #1 new show.